It doesn't have to be totally relevant. So this is like XOXOXO paper. So it's sort of like Valentine's Day. What you want to do with it is choose which side you want to be out. And so I actually think I'm going to want that big bold pattern to be out. And you just fold it in half once, right? Just fold a piece of paper in half. And then you just fold it again. And then what you can do, so I have now this little, right? So I made one, and now let me just find a couple more pieces of, you don't really need double-sided. I don't need double-sided at all. That was double-sided, but I don't really need it. Didn't need it to be. And I pulled the Valentine's Day paper, but I don't really need a Valentine's Day theme for this. But that's okay. I think I'm just going to go with it anyways. So this is a cardstock paper. This is a lighter weight paper, which isn't as awesome for the pockets, but I think I'm going to make this into the middle. So that this one with the big X's will be my cover, and then these will be my insides. And I think just 3 sheets will get me there, probably. Let me just see. I bet you that will probably work. Okay, so I'm just going to put these papers to the side, and then to make this, to make how this book goes together, and to make the pockets, and I'm just going to use, you could use adhesive, but I've been using the sewing machine like crazy lately, and I actually think for this kind of a project, if you have a sewing machine handy, it's almost like quicker and easier because you can just line up just make a stitch, and I actually think it'll be stronger than adhesive. So you see how that's like there, now that's a pocket that I can stick these into, or I can stick photographs into, or whatever you want to put in the mini book. Wow, it's a powerful little machine. I'm using like just a fold away table. This is not where I normally craft. The other thing I've seen people do online is, you know, like turn down the little, like get kind of fancy with the openings of mini books. I'm not really sure that I'm going to do that. Maybe I'll just do it with, I'm just not. No, I'm not. I know there's like all sorts of cutesy little, like this. I think like this. This might be cute. Just go like, instead of folding it down, maybe just cut it, right? So people really know there's something in there. And to make that be even on both sides, I'll just like this. I'm not going to do it on all of the pages. I'll just do it on 2 of them. Not all the flaps. Just some of them. So then you've got like a more obvious place where the pocket's going to be. It's really bouncing. But this kind of shows you how you can make a mini book almost as easily as you could make a full page. Like it doesn't, a mini book doesn't have to take you forever. And sometimes when I'm making mini books, I have a hard time finishing sometimes because I think I can fit more in there than I actually can. And you might want to trim, if you do this, trim the middle pages a little bit. I'm not going to just because I'm doing this fast. But the middle pages, here I'll just trim these middle pages. Might be good if they were just a little bit shorter than the other ones, or less wide. Hold on. And then the way that I adhere, or the way that I put this mini book together is I use my crocodile, which I do not have handy right now, but I just put in 2 holes and then I put ribbon. And that's how this one is attached. But I am going to actually sew the one that I'm making right now together. And I'll show you that. So this is kind of what I call improv scrapbooking, where you don't sit down with a plan. Although you have maybe sort of a plan, but not a full plan. And you just go. Like, don't stop, just keep going. And don't, I guess don't overthink it. You know, just go with it. Okay, so I'm just gonna sew this entire book on the seam together. And I'm probably gonna stitch it. I've never done this. I'm thinking like either sewing it one more time will make it stronger, or maybe it'll put too many holes in the paper and make it weaker. If it ever like fell apart, I could always do the double up with the holes. But at this point, that works, so I'm gonna use that. Okay, getting way too long. I'm trying to make these videos short. I tend to talk too long. But what I'm going to do next is just decorate the album, and then I will probably by decade put these in, and you decorate, you know, put the photos out here, and then on the front say something about I love Saturday Night Live. So I didn't have, you know, make a Saturday Night Live album and how much I love it on a list of scrapbooking pages or mini books to make anywhere. But it was what was on my mind today. And, you know, I think that using the Valentine's Day paper will remind me later about how I remembered all of this and connected all these dots because of the Grammys, and I might even put this in here somehow, the paper, the newspaper clipping. But I think that yeah. So I guess the other point I wanted to make was, big punctuations of life and big events can be attached not only in your personal life, but also like in the world, can be connected to music or movies or TV or songs. And so maybe you don't like Saturday Night Live. You could do a different album about some other thread in your life that may be related to popular culture. Like maybe you're a news junkie. Maybe you watch the news all the time. You could make a mini book about Walter Cronkite and Dan Rather and Peter Jennings. But something, just think about that. Maybe you'll come up with something. That is all. I'm gonna stop now. I'm Katie Scott with Kiss and Tell Scrapbooking. I will photograph this and put it up on my blog, and I will finish this page that I started yesterday and put that up too. So that's in the works. I haven't forgot about that. I'm filming myself today, so I'm gonna get up and turn it off. So goodbye, scrapbookers.